like to introduce is a former state representative for the 51st District, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Douglas Cutler. Wow. I'll bet you this is the safest place in the city. Let's give it up for Dave. Thank you, Dave. Word on the horn.
Maybe he is. There's a big crowd. I know.
Citizens of the so-called Constitution State. I want to start off by sharing with you some information, numbers that you probably will never hear out of the governor's office and most likely never see in the media. The first number is 195,000. That's how many people are killed by medical errors in our country every year. The next number is 32,367. That's how many people were killed on our roads in 2011. Next we have 9,878, which is the number of people who were killed in 2011 by drunk drivers. 3,533 equals drowning deaths per year in America. 1,694 people were murdered by someone using a knife. 726 were murdered by hands and feet. Yes, hands and feet. I love the enthusiasm. 496 by hammers and clubs. I gotta finish. 427 in boating accidents. And according to the FBI, 323 people were killed in 2011 by someone with a rifle. 323. And in Connecticut, according to FBI.gov, in the calendar year 2011, the last year with complete statistics, a grand total of 1 person was murdered with a rifle here in Connecticut. Why do we not hear about these numbers? Why do our so-called leaders in one breath say they support the Second Amendment, and in the next say that you don't need a semi-automatic rifle to defend your family? Why do they always insist on telling other people what they need or don't need? If we had a needs test before buying anything, Walmart, Cadillac, Dunkin' Donuts, and Budweiser would be long out of business. Because nobody needs a big screen TV. Nobody needs a $70,000 luxury car, maple frosted donuts, or beer. Notice I didn't say anything about coffee, though. When's the last time anybody asked you why you needed to vote? Our right to keep and bear arms is not about need, and it's certainly not about hunting, which is the other smokescreen our leaders always resort to when making their case against the right to keep and bear arms. They claim nobody needs an AR-15 to go hunting. Well, that's a revelation, because according to Connecticut law, you already can't hunt deer with an AR if it's chambered in its most popular cartridge. Thank you, Captain Obvious. I will tell you what you can use semi-automatic rifles like AR-15s for, however. They're great for protecting buildings just like the one we're meeting at today. And just because you don't see any doesn't mean they aren't within a few yards of us. The people who drafted our state constitution understand the concept of being free and safe. And they wanted to protect the right of ordinary citizens to own and use firearms made specifically with defense in mind. That's why Article 1, Section 15 of Connecticut's Constitution reads, and I quote, "Every citizen has a right to bear arms in defense of himself and the state." Yeah! No deer, no clay pigeons, no target shooting, and no ambiguity. Our governor and every state legislator swore an oath to support and abide by those words, just as I did in this very building exactly 20 years ago. The fact that they are willing to ignore inconvenient facts like I shared earlier, or are attempting to turn a crystal clear God-given right into a simple rhetorical question of need, is child's play compared to the abandonment of their oath. This battle for our rights and the rights of our children and their children's children reminds me of something from the movie The Terminator. During the scene when the police are questioning Kyle Reese about why he was sent back in time to protect Sarah Connor from the Terminator, Reese gets fed up with it and says, actually shouts, "You still don't get it, do you? He'll find her. That's what he does. That's all he does." We must accept the fact that the gun banners will not stop with semi-automatic firearms, which have been in common civilian use since the days before the Titanic. They didn't stop after banning the ownership of new fully automatic firearms in 1986, and they won't stop with semi-autos either. If successful, they will then go after our ultra-accurate sniper-grade bolt-action rifles with high-power scopes. And then they'll go after the handguns too. Channeling my inner Kyle Reese, they'll ban those too. It's what they do. That's all they do. If we don't give every last ounce of what we're made of in this battle to preserve our right to keep and bear arms, we'll be lucky to be left with single shots, which, by the way, as we've heard, a state senator is already attempting to do with proposed bill number 122.
No way!
Our forefathers passed their freedoms to us. Which of these rights are we going to pass on to our children? Thank you for coming.